up, everyone, and welcome to the Secret Restaurant Podcast. I'm Nate. Happy Big Noon Saturday to those who celebrate. Closing the blinds right now so nobody can see me talking to myself, quite literally. Big Noon Saturday taking place in Iowa City this weekend. The great Iowa City, the birthplace of our Lord and Savior, quite possibly. Hasn't been proven, but I think that Jesus might have been born there. I'm going to have to turn off the TV instead of getting distracted, watching these young go-hards who slightly frighten me and who I do not understand, celebrating the long tradition of college football, which has been on my mind since birth. Yeah, what's going on, everyone? I've been lacking on the podcast, and then when I haven't been lacking, I feel like I haven't been very enthusiastic, and I apologize for that. But yeah, I started working at a gym just in the front desk, which is funny because I really do need to start going to the gym. It's never really been my habit, even since high school, really. I feel like I did it a little bit after high school, and then I just decided it was easier to not go. But when you're young, you're healthy, and you don't need to do those things, and you can stay limber, and if a crisis occurs, your athletic career is just close enough that you still know how to handle it. But you know what? I turned 33 on Friday, and, my balance and mobility is not what it used to be. I have been losing weight, though, since I started working there. Not even because of working out, but because my steps, when I'm walking around the gym, I've been walking between 5 and 7 miles a day, which is way higher than it used to be. Is this interesting? I don't know. But yeah, that's just been making sense of that whole thing. I haven't had an in-person job, especially one that I talk to so many people. Honestly, if you count teaching, then that counts. But really, in this sort of customer service area, I haven't had a job like this since 2017, honestly. So it took a little getting back into it. And I have to just keep myself calm and try not to look like a full-on tweaker, which is pretty much my demeanor a lot of the time. It's been nice, though. I'm grateful for it. And the hard part is just going to be not having that be all I do. And keep that pen moving, as Kendrick Lamar says over and over. Keep the pen moving. I have been grooving through some poems, though. A lot of it, at this point, because I'm always writing, but at this point, it's been almost a year since I put out my last book, which was in December of 2024. And so, of course, now I probably have maybe 70 or 80 pages, or maybe more, I don't know. But now I think it's time, the final step, of course, comes down to sequencing and thinning. So I was working on that with the collection a lot yesterday. But then now that I put maybe 5 releases out, so now I'm just is it even worth it to do this again? I mean, I still have the poems. I'll always have them, just as long as somehow the printed ones don't get lost or the computer crashes or blah, blah, blah. I have them saved in a lot of different places. So they're not just going to disappear. But it's kind of is there any reason for me to put this out? I don't know. How many more people are paying attention to me now as opposed to a year ago? And are they really paying attention to me? Or do they just want something from me? I.e., me to print them in a little book that they don't promote. And they get a free one and tell no one. And are like, wow, what's next for me? What else? Went to the Last Picture House in downtown Davenport. And I saw the Bruce Springsteen movie. Bruce Springsteen. What is that called again? All Roads Lead to Nowhere. Is that a Children of Bodom song? Whatever the Bruce Springsteen movie is, I saw it in theaters. I was impressed. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like music films are one of my favorite genres, especially rock and roll films. But I think I personally like rock and roll films where the bands and the musicians aren't real more than I like biopics. Is that weird? I'm trying to think of the best biopics. I don't want to make fun of any, although I could. What are the best ones? I mean, it's always like a fake band when it's the best. I mean, Spinal Tap, Almost Famous, although there were like examples of real bands in that one. What other ones? Wayne's World had a fake band in it. I don't know. Anyway, I did see. What was the other one that came out? That was a big deal with T-Shao. Big Noon Saturday. Sorry, I need to turn the TV off. Look at all those young people with so much to live for, not studying, instead waving foam fingers in the air. Number 1, although your grades are number 3 or 4. I hated grading people when I was a teacher. Although you're lucky if you're a teacher, because chances are like there's a large portion of the class that doesn't turn anything in, it doesn't show up, and then it's like, well, that takes care of some of the bad grades you have to give. And then if people do the work, you just give them an A or a B. There you go. I don't know what it would be like if I started teaching again. The last time I did, I was like in my 20s still. I was 28, and then I was a tutor. But I feel like back then, I was 26 when I started teaching college because I had a graduate teaching apprenticeship. I feel like when I was 26, I still felt like I was an undergrad. I didn't know how to separate myself from the people I was supposed to be teaching. It would be different now. Why am I talking about this? Why do I keep on commenting on what I am talking about in a way that seems confused and baffled? Why am I not in Iowa City right now for Big Noon Saturday? I bet that's fun. Oh, yeah, dude, Bruce Springsteen movie. I liked it fine. I liked it good. There's something, I don't know why, whenever there's like a movie about an artist, it's even like the living ones, it seems like the whole time, like the actor always plays them as like a person who's like staring down at their shoes all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I know Bob Dylan was actually like that. Well, sometimes you just gotta go with the wind. But then also the Bruce Springsteen one, it felt like he was like socially inequipped to have conversations sometimes. I always thought that Bruce Springsteen was like kind of a jock. And I've seen him talk in interviews and stuff. The voice was accurate, but I just feel like the artists, there's like cliches recording an artist. Where they're supposed to be like antisocial. And like all their relationships are like dissatisfied with the level of intimacy they give them. Is that true for all artists? I don't know. Nah, but ending the conversation on a good note, because I did enjoy it. And I think I couldn't believe that what's his name? Jeremy Allen White did the singing, because it did really sound like The Boss. And there were great moments. I liked it. And it made me, I got some Bruce on vinyl, because they sold so many albums of that one that you can find them for pretty affordable. I think I got 3, and I think they were all under $10. I got Born to Run. I got All Roads Lead to Nowhere, or no, Darkness at the End of Town. And then I got The River. And then my parents already had Born in the USA in Nebraska. So, anyway, if anything, the movie really did make you want to listen to Bruce. It made you admire Bruce. The performances were good. I think it's probably my fault. It's probably that for me, I'm always just going to have something lacking in biopics, that you can instead watch an in-studio documentary or a documentary about the band, which is what I did afterwards. I listened to, or on YouTube, I found Bruce, a documentary about him recording Darkness at the Edge of Town, or whatever that album's called, which was an interesting story. He was in a legal battle about his publishing, And so he had like 3 years where he didn't put an album out, and they were just like jamming, writing thousands of songs. And it was cool to see his relationship with Steve Van Zandt, who people know as Syl from The Sopranos, but actually started out as a guitarist in the E Street Band. And it was fun seeing them jam together. That was relatable. Which, jumping from topic to topic to topic to topic, was doing some jamming myself in a new rock band that I've played with a couple times. But excited to put some stuff together. In the music world, I have my amp over at in their basement. I'm going to go back and see if we can put some jams together. It was sort of a coincidence how that worked out. I've always wanted to play more music, but between me being busy and me not having the right people to kick it with, I'm hoping that this is a new chapter for me. And soon I'll be on the big stage, just like Bruce. Bruce Springsteen. Nah, but I've had this orange amp. That's a brand for those who don't know, who don't practice rock and roll. Orange is a brand of amp, really old amp, but it's famous among rock bands, especially because of how like heavy it is. A lot of doom metal bands and sludgy, distorted bands play with that style of amp. But the one I have, it's not a tube amp. It's called a what the fuck is it called? A solid state, which means that it's all digital. I'm not gonna get into that because I don't really explain it. I don't really understand it myself. But back in the day, amps used to be all like manual. They used to be all analog. And then once computers started to get integrated into music and stuff, they started making amps that were digital and kind of imitated the tube amp. And so I've had this digital kind of style of amp. That's an orange amp. It's a respected brand, but it's still not like the same as the ones that the rock stars we love use. And honestly, I got it, and then I've lived in a couple of apartments since then, so I never really played it that much because, I didn't want to get people mad about shredding really loudly. So a lot of the times I would just end up hooking my guitar up to my computer, and then you can either use the computer speaker, you can use headphones or whatever. But now that I brought that amp over and been playing it, it sounds like so good. I've been neglecting it. It's definitely made me have a different approach to how I want to sound on guitar too. Because when you just hook it up to the computer, it's like you can do all the manipulations to make it sound like it's a real amp, but really it's kind of more quiet or something. It's like you're playing in a more small space metaphorically, where you're playing, you can make it sound good, but you're not really like rocking out. So there's something different about having a 60-watt amp that you can turn up, and then you can actually make noise with it. It almost changes how you hear it and how you play it. And I'm only just starting to rediscover that. Because, back in high school, I was an obnoxious rock and roll dude who would turn my amp way up and be playing loud and not care who hears it. And then as I became a almost 33-year-old old man, I definitely became more reserved. And I've been spending all this time on computers, playing guitar through a computer, kind of keeping things small and calculated. So there's something freeing about having just like an amp on the floor with the volume, and you're plugged into it, and you can just play it, and you can just hear it in the room, and it can be loud. Maybe I'm saying something that people already know, but I feel like it's something that I've been avoiding, or it's something that I haven't really been able to experience. And the whole world is opening up to me. Bruce Springsteen. It's funny, how you digest things and then you're not thinking about them all the time and then they come out later. That was actually, Bruce Springsteen did have, when I was listening to that, watching that documentary about them just playing at his house. He had a house in, I don't know if it was New Jersey or suburbs or something, but it was a pretty big, property. I'm not sure if he owned it or if he was renting it, but they were able to just play in this big space and be as loud as they can. And he was always talking about how back in the 70s, I'm recycling what they said, back in the 70s and stuff, recording became very crisp and clean, where they tried to cut out all sounds, all outside sounds, all like echoes, all like the atmosphere. They tried to remove that from their recordings, and they tried to make it sound as clean as possible. And then he was kind of resistant to that. He wanted to make a room, or make a album, make a song, make a recording that sounds like it's just happening in a room. And so he wanted to keep that atmosphere and keep that echo and keep that space alive in his recordings. And I think that's definitely, with popular music now, that's definitely happening. Where it's even how people record. Like, most people do record just by hooking it up to the computer. And then there's like pop music is super polished. Even if there's like atmosphere, even if there's like distortion and echo, it's fabricated. I mean, obviously there are bands like indie rock bands and not super Grammy level famous bands that aren't overproduced. But I think that's definitely happening now, where the space of it, the spontaneity, the liveness, there could always be more of that in music. You know what I like about recording a podcast is that no one is here to tell me that I'm wrong. You know, being out in the world, if you say something, people are going to be like, sure, I don't know. Well, actually, what about, you're forgetting about Tame Impala. What about Tame Impala? What do you think about Haim? There are plenty of rock bands that do that. It's what, bucko? You're not doing anything either. You're just telling me I'm wrong. Is that your whole life? Your whole life is just telling people that you know more than them? Why don't you fucking cool it? Why don't you just stop it? Why don't you just go in? What else? Oh, so I've been trying to get, I talked about this book series. Let's talk about literature. Let's talk about books. Let's talk about the pages, endless pages of literature all throughout the land. If we stacked every book on top of each other, would it reach the moon? Probably. Our imaginations reach the moon, that's for sure. How tall would the stack of books go if every book was stacked up into the clouds? Nah, but I've been trying to get back into that Wheel of Time series. I read the first one, and I already knew from listening to people talk about it, it's kind of a recycling of Lord of the Rings. So Wheel of Time is probably one of the most famous, best-selling fantasy series of all time. It started being published in the 90s, and then 14 books were published, but the last 4 were co-wrote because the original author and creator passed away. So there's like 14 books, and they're all, honestly, depending on which edition you get, but if you get like the mass market paperback, they're all like 800 pages or 700 pages. Long books. And I read the first one. I liked it fine, but the constant critique of this series, especially the first book, is how similar it is to Lord of the Rings. Like, it's like this kind of small town hero is pushed out of the place that he grew up in, the only place he knows, because of kind of these, not orcs, they're called Trollocs, they're like troll-looking things. Hero's journey, so to speak. A lot of those aspects of the hero's journey are the same, like the hero gets pushed out of his comfort. Wouldn't it be nice to be pushed out of your comfort? Pushed out of Davenport and into Iowa City, where Big Noon Saturday is taking place. The hero's journey. 1 hour on the highway. Hitting college football, Big Noon Saturday. It's actually 11 here. Big 11 Saturday. Ooh, Big 10. Big Noon. Oh, is Big Noon because of the Big 10? Anyway. So I've been ordering the Wheel of Time books one by one. Because as I mentioned, it's like the best-selling fantasy series. One of the best-selling fantasy series of all time. So you can find them pretty used, pretty cheap. But since I am a dork, whenever I get books, I try to get certain editions. And I'm trying to get all of them in the mass market paperback of the original kind of painted covers with like the pictures of the characters. Because they've gone through a few different printings, many of which are just the names or maybe a little symbol. But the original ones that I'm trying to collect, all of them, are like the pictures of like the characters on horses or like holding items and whatnot. So that experience has kind of been a journey in itself. Hey man, did you read the Wheel of Time series? Well, no. But I did receive one by one each book in the mail, which was sort of a journey in itself, an experience, seeing each cover one by one, waiting for it to arrive, looking at it, not opening it. I kind of feel like I experienced it, and now I get to experience it all over again when I actually read them, if I actually read them. Hopefully I actually read them. But yeah, I have the first 7, and then the next one I need to get actually didn't come out with the original cover that I liked in paperback. That cover was only published in hardcover. So I'll have to figure out if I can find one that's the right cover I want. And also the next one that I need to get is apparently not one of the best in the series anyway. Okay, that's all I have today. I will see you guys another time. And thank you for your patience in the many months, many weeks, many days between episodes these days. I'll talk to you guys later.